Hello everyone, I'm Forrest McFreelava, and this is Mayan Speedplay number 24. We left off having defeated Brunei and Brazil. We go ahead and make an army out of entirely mercenary infantry, as I've kind of given up on our own people having those jobs, because it just really drains through our manpower at a ridiculous rate. So the plan now is we're going to declare war on Malacca. First of all, there is this tiny two-province minor nearby, and we're going to pluck up a few of these armies we just kind of have laying about doing absolutely nothing. So first things first is this two-province minor is a pretty good jumping off point or staging ground or whatever you want to call it for our invasion of Malacca, and we just completely dominate their army very quickly. So just like that, we've basically got the staging ground. We ask for a contribution from our merchants because we can, and we go ahead and take the province, add them to our trade company. It's a different trade zone than the rest of Malacca, the area we actually want, but that doesn't matter all that much. Alright, with that said and done, we have a lot of revolts that we need to be worrying about, which is a little unpleasant and also part of the reason why we built that new army in Mexico. We go ahead and add our nobility to a few of these provinces. They had been very close to just overwhelming the state. Now we have the opportunity to just add them to new places. It doesn't probably stop any of the revolts. That being said, though, we are in a good position for attacking Malacca. We can also start building up a trade fleet. We will build around 60 new trade ships in order to just build up our trade income a bit and to spend some of this massive surplus we're just kind of sitting on. And alright, with that all ready to go, we declare this war not on Malacca itself, but on their small ally. That way we can just kind of go through Malacca to their small ally and really just double up on what we're able to get from this war. So we go ahead and just march right on in. It doesn't look like they have any armies so far. They obviously probably do, although just nowhere visible to us. And that's pretty much the same as not having armies at all. Doesn't really matter too much for our purposes. There's an army. We'll just go ahead and block the strait so that they can't run on through and kill all of our sieging stacks. And there we go. So we'll get this entire island in our control in just a moment once the siege actually goes through. And we are going to just colonize a bit wherever we're able, as that is really going to be just a consistent theme throughout the rest of this campaign, just colonization. We're probably nowhere near going to complete colonization of North and South America. There's going to be a huge amount of just uncolonized areas in between. So once the siege over here finishes, we're going to go ahead and, unfortunately, we get sieged out in Brazil. Apparently, the nation we actually did declare the war on decided to send troops all the way to South America to fight us, which is a little bit upsetting. Luckily, we did build a third army for that, and we are moving forward against Malacca. So as we move across Malacca, we will hopefully be able to end the war fairly quickly. We do have to deal with this threat in Brazil, though, which is a little annoying, but not so terrible. We also get a mission to colonize the area we were actually just about to colonize already anyway, so that's pretty awesome. And just continue to slowly move forward. We get a large rebellion in Brunei. I was hoping to avoid fighting a massive rebel stack there, which is why we didn't fully annex the place, but it looks like I was not so lucky. So with that said, we have to just kind of wait for that more colonization, as is kind of our way. And I don't think that we'll actually be able to free up both armies. Meanwhile, this 4 stack is just kind of running around. We do split our force in half so that we can siege and hopefully also destroy it. And it looks like we're going to have to fight Malacca's army. We also fight the rebels. Despite not having reinforcements, it works out pretty alright. Though we are probably going to need to bring reinforcements to bear before we actually fight this other group. Luckily, the reinforcements just landed, so we're good. Meanwhile, they attack and lose their army, so that's great. South America is secure. We go ahead and get our trade ships ready to go. I want to combine them into one fleet first before ordering them to go anywhere, and Brazil rises up, or however you want to describe it. We also go ahead and fight for this city and just attack rebels basically everywhere at the same time. Hopefully it goes decently well. And it looks as though it did. We are going to have to raise additional mercenaries, although that's basically the reason we just made this army out of mercenaries anyway. Is we can just, deal with that and it's not so much of a problem. Doesn't drain on the manpower at all. Bit more expensive though. And just like that, we go ahead and win, consolidate our regiments, and just bring these guys all together, bring the ships over to them as well. At this point, we have 3 armies and 2 transport fleets, which is non-optimal, but also not really all that bad. We may have to deal with that later. Although, as it stands right now, we're just kind of roving across Malacca and dealing with internal revolution. To the person who suggested that I get humanist ideas, that is looking more and more like a good idea as we continue this campaign, and I am actually beginning to regret taking religious ideas. Maybe in the long run it'll be nice as we manage to convert everybody, but the large number of low-level provinces really does not lend itself to rapid conversion. At any rate, though, we are winning the war, and that is the most important thing in the short term. We can't actually ask for any of their territories that we don't already occupy, which is a little unfortunate since they're not the war leader. However, we are just kind of moving our forces around and about throughout, and just taking everything. We have just naval superiority to an extent that is just patently unfair. And that's really going to just press us into the future and them right on into the past as we rove on through basically everywhere. Now the real question is going to be how much can we get from Malacca and then also annex their ally, who is technically the war leader. And we do go ahead and also set up our trade ships to actually trade, so maybe we'll be able to actually get all of this trade to go directly to the Caribbean, well not directly, but go down the most direct route possible to the Caribbean. Although I'm looking too far ahead of myself right now. We do go ahead and get hopefully 100% or at least close to 100% war score from Malacca. An issue with this is that now we're basically at 100% overextension, 94%, so we can't actually annex their ally until we're done with some of that. Meanwhile, Theodora declares war on Georgia. They're doing really well. And just like that, we're basically going to have to wait around until our coring is done. One of the, I guess, slightly unfortunate things about how this is, about where we're at right now, is we're really slowed down by our rate of overextension. And there's not really much we can do about that other than vassal feed. And we can't really vassal feed in Asia since they're all so low tech compared to us. Which means if we are going to vassal feed, it'll have to be in places like Europe and North Africa. Places that will put up a very good fight. We also can't even create client states because it's not the right continent. Which is a little unfortunate. We can only create client states in the Americas. We could also be creating a path through Africa to get trade flowing. Although right now that doesn't really seem like the greatest idea. We do go ahead and get access from the country we just defeated. And we're really just shoveling our troops around at this point, trying to just head off any sort of rebellion or potential rebellion. Sadly, we do not have the advisor for -2 revolt risk, which is, as you can see by all of the potential rebel factions, kind of a severe issue, quite frankly. So we're going to hope for the best as this kind of just ticks along. We can maybe also declare war on Tunis, get them their cores back as we vassalize them, and then get them their cores back and use them to vassal feed our way into Europe and North Africa. Although, despite the fact that we have 3 massive armies and the transports to get them basically anywhere in the world, we can't actually do that right now since we need to worry about dealing with domestic revolt. So that's a little unfortunate. We are trying to just fire away some of these advisors so we can get a -2 revolt person. However, we don't really have any luck with that. We also have to worry about some Scottish people maybe uprising. We do go ahead and just raise autonomy there because we need to worry about other revolts far more seriously than we need to worry about the Scots and various islanders. We do go ahead and annex those guys, which is pretty great news. We do have to deal with that revolt over by Singapore and also a large revolt over in the North American, just United States region. So that's less than ideal. But we do have powerful armies, so I'm pretty sure we will be able to take care of it. It's just a little bit of a delay that we don't really need. And we just keep moving our armies around. We do need to bring, and there it is, another army just to deal with that. And we build up another infantry just to help with conquering all of South Africa. So it's a bit of a mess what's all going on. We do add more areas to our trade company, and now we're going to just try to destroy all of these rebel groups. Hopefully we'll be able to really just head them off and win at a fairly rapid clip, which would be pretty ideal, although who's really to say how well it's going to go. Alright, so we get another revolt, and that's kind of going to be the just go-to statement for the next little while in this campaign. And we do manage to head that one off, though, which is very lucky. There is not entirely the greatest luck with us dealing with all of these things, although hopefully we'll be able to get on top of it all, and then once the revolts all go through, they won't be able to go through for quite some time, as they'll have the modifier for having recently revolted. So we do rush up, and we'll hopefully just destroy that group, and it looks as though it's going decently well fairly quickly. And now all we need to do is take back the fort, and all the other areas will fall to us. We do go ahead and rush up to Vinland, where it looks as though a revolt may break out in really just any amount of days, and it broke out in the Caribbean instead, and also in Vinland, so I guess we were kind of right. Alright, so that all said, we're really just going to have to keep dealing with this for quite some time. We do manage to save that one small island, which is great. The idea basically being that we don't want to have to fight for islands that they occupy, as we lose really just a lot of benefits and have to deal with -2 for crossing and whatnot. So that's far less than ideal. We do go ahead and just pluck up this army, and we will take them over. We left some mercenaries to siege, and we'll probably just disband them because it's a little too tedious to get our ships. So we do that, and we raise even more mercenaries, the idea being that some amount of them are going to just sort of run out of people, so we can probably overbuild and then just commit extra hard to that. So we do go ahead and build another transport navy, as at this point I realize it's pretty much a necessity. We do split off some transports, and we build even more infantry. We're going to really have to worry about cleaning up all of these separatists basically everywhere, always. So yeah, definitely regretting the choice of religious over humanist ideas, but the idea of just one uniform, homogeneic state was a little too tempting for me, and perhaps not intelligently so, as we are clearly dealing with the repercussions of it right now. That being said, although it does slow us down in our acquisition of vassals and various territories just kind of throughout the world, it's not as though we're actually at risk of these of these people breaking free and actually undermining the state in any real sincere manner. So it's really just a bother, and one that takes up a worrying amount of our time. Although we are using this time to core provinces, so even still, it's not the worst thing that could be happening to us. At any rate, though, with that all said and done, our revolt's finally over. We're going to take a break for now and come back tomorrow. Thank you very much for watching. Please like, share, and subscribe. Have a great day.